Dummy Switch Pod.
Yes,
Again, we're coming with the celebrations. The champagne is out.
Here we are.
Champoko, champies. Yes. And it's well deserved. It's well deserved. Our nerves were tested.
Yeah. Severely tested. Down right to the last minute. Ah, man. It was tense.
There was times I thought it was in doubt. There was definitely times I thought it was in doubt. First half, they were still in bed. They didn't wake up. The Boks, they couldn't get it out of first gear.
Yeah. No, true. Completely, And I won't lie, I was a bit worried, especially even when that guy who's in Finn Russell came on. He brought a different dynamic, different picture, and I was just like, hey, this guy, hey, I was like, hey,
yeah,
hey.
It makes you wonder why he wasn't playing all along.
Yeah, because, geez, look, it could have gone either way. Let's be honest.
It was only going in hindsight, but it was only going one way. Now, during the game, yeah, we felt like that, but now, looking back.
Yeah.
Was it ever in doubt? There was maybe a draw, but I think the Lions made it clear they didn't want to draw. They were going for line. And I think after having won against New Zealand, it wouldn't have been as sweet.
Yeah, not true, but like you say, hindsight, yes, of course, we always back the boys, and geez, did the boys perform, everybody, I think that whole team, that whole squad, maybe like a few guys, just, maybe nerves and some teething problems, Yeah, look, and we spoke about it. I think we spoke about it in the previous week where we said, in all honesty, he hasn't been on form, and you have to admit, the kicks, there's kicks that he missed that could have cost us, and considering he also came back from injury, and when you look at all the variables that were around that team, in this series, it makes it even a bigger win,
Yes, but my thing is, if it was Elton Yanchis, we wouldn't get the same kind of understanding. We wouldn't get the same kind of excuses. We wouldn't get. Everyone is quick to blame Elton for everything, but Pollard never has. He never has his day in court. No one says anything. He gets away with everything.
Yeah, true. Because it hasn't even been scribed. Where the question mark over his goal kicking. And his form. Look, make no doubt, his class is there. And we've seen it. The touches were there. We saw it in the second test with that try for Mapimpi, the class will always be there, but, the form, and considering, it hasn't been there and it hasn't been spoken about. And you're right to point that out, that if it was Elton, hey, the media, especially those guys on that other, sports website, 24, they would have had a field day, and, they would have hung him up to dry and said, no, he's the scapegoat, But look, let's not dive too much into those politics. Let's celebrate the win, because
and I think sorry to cut you short, but I think we should also celebrate Cheslin Colby, because this has been, he had his he had his moments. He had his moments in the first unofficial test, but during the three, he was sort of kept subdued, quiet, subdued. But he finally had his moment, which I felt was, it was a great thing.
One chance, and he made it count. And again, there's another player that we were speaking about in the last episode is Lucanio and how he summed up.
Yeah, he did the right things.
And look, truth be told, whenever something good is happening, he's always involved. He always has a hand in there, and he's just shown. Look, I think we had this discussion. We were asking if he's, the best outside center we've ever had. And look, he certainly now, increased his ratings. Definitely, he's a different player from what we've previously seen, and. All those qualities and attributes, they make him a standout. Right now, if you're looking at the 13s, I think I saw World Rugby, you know, on one of the social media platforms, they're asking, you know, who do you pick of the 4 centers? I think there's 2 Fijians, you know, but the one plays for France, and then and then Lucanio and just can't remember the 4th guy was, but for me, he sticks out defensively. You know, he's very good. You know, he marshals the defense well, and then also on attack, that transition when he has his hands on the ball. And if you look at it in the World Cup, he had a hand in Colby's try. You know, in this game, he had a hand in Colby's try as well. You know, he can't put a foot wrong. You know, so yeah, I was impressed with him.
Yeah, impressed with Trevor as well. Trevor bailed us out on a few occasions there. You know, he had his moments as well. You know, the redemption from struggling coming into the test to having big moments throughout, and then capping it off with the scrums here, especially when we were on our own try line. Where it did look shaky was, I mean, we're talking about Colby's try. If you notice Colby's try, Reinach is pointing this way. He's pointing this way. He's running the support line, but he's like, no, not to me, to outside there to call him. That's the danger, man. So I mean, and Reinach, he did enough, but where I thought we were in trouble was when Janchis came on, and you know, down to 16-16, he couldn't relieve the pressure. There was a time they counter-rucked, and I thought we were in real trouble then.
Yeah. Jeez, you know, when that happened, I couldn't. I thought back to when we spoke about. You were speaking about his form as well. You know, we were saying that he hasn't really been, you know, ticking over pretty well, and it honestly almost cost us. You know, we're not saying
deciding to go for a quick tap, eh?
You know, and I was just like, geez, what is he doing? Like,
he's the CEO of Let the Boys Play.
I know that guy's got shares, you know, but you know, look, at the end of the day, you know, we have to back our guys, you know, and we hold them to a high standard, and rightly so, because the national team it's our national treasure. So we have the right to speak about it, you know, and he almost did cost us, you know, and it wasn't nice for the heart, you know, and it really wasn't nice, you know. Where, geez, you know, I don't know how many times I threw the remote, you know, on Saturday, especially in that first half, you know, when things.
Yeah, the first half was very frustrating.
Just frustrating, man, you know, and look, again, you know, for me, Captain Siya Kolisi, he stood up real. You know, he showed that, okay, he's the man of the house. He's there, you know, and he was there. I think second test, even the third test, crucial moments at key points, you know, just before halftime. You know, that's 2 weeks in a row. That's no fluke. You know, it shows the work rate that's in that squad. You know, even a guy like Etzebeth, you know, he was, you know, his role was to enforce, you know, and bring that physical dominance, and he did that, you know. I think the only way I was worried was at number 8 with Jasper Wiese. I think the Lions had him covered, and his fielding of the high ball was just it was really
just enough.
He did just enough, you know. I couldn't help but notice he doesn't have a tooth. You know, I don't know if I was seeing things, but he looks like he doesn't have a tooth. You know, so I don't know. I have to go watch again, but it just looks like he doesn't have a tooth, you know, which shows that, you know, it's either practice has been that tough or these games have been tough, and he's been putting himself in the wars, you know, doing the unseen stuff. And look, we can afford to give him a bit of leeway, but in terms of the reps that he had, I even had big reps on him coming into the series. He didn't live up to that physical expectation, if you know what I mean, like that those bullocking runs that you saw him even before you went to Leicester Tigers. You know, you know, I think that was the only real sort of concern for me, you know.
I guess we'll see. I mean, even a guy like Evan Roos, I guess we'll see when he eventually does get that call up, if that same kind of momentum is held up at the top. These aren't Currie Cup defenders anymore. These are test level defenders. So I mean, I guess you'll see. I can't fault the guys. Even Yanchis, it's like everyone held up their end,
Yes.
Especially, you were talking about injuries. Given all the circumstances, guys held up on their end. So I'm grateful for that. I'm appreciative. And it's one thing I noticed about the Boks is that rarely are they, especially in recent times, their reputation is not called into disrepute. Whereas other nations, they're having problems with guys off the field, and I feel like recently we're not. So I think we've got a good bunch of guys that they know what this jersey means. Outside of that camp, even.
That's 100%. And even look, you mentioned everybody held up their end. Even we had our reservations of Vincent Koch. And look, he stepped up. He definitely stepped up, and he just, I don't know, man. This team has got a different vibe about them. From previous years, it's very different.
It's like rugby turned professional. When did rugby turn professional? Around 95. It's like we only got professional now.
Yeah, it feels like that, and for me, I think a couple of months back on the show, I mentioned that I kind of feel like we have an opportunity to really dominate world rugby, for the green machine to just, to really start dominating world rugby. And I think, with all the talk that's coming out from all the other countries talking about how boring we are or whatever, they're scared. They're scared because they know that they can't handle. They can't hang. So they're trying to. For me, that's what I feel is that these guys are really just afraid. And it's really that they can't stop. They're not going to be able to stop us. Our forward pack, the depth that we have, depth that we built and are building, is looking ominous, and giving us a good chance, I think, to be the first Springbok squad to do a back-to-back. I'm putting my neck out there and saying that, like, by the look of it, if you look at the depth overall, I think we can. Going forward, But first things first, we need to deal with the Rugby Championship, and I think this Rugby Championship is important as well to make a statement because we didn't play last time out, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say, and I think this is our chance to start setting the record straight, and I think we will.
Yeah, it is our chance. If we've capped off everything over the Lions series, I think it's time to get into that championship squad, the one that's been announced to play Argentina. I was having a good day today until I saw who was listed at number 13. Other than that, can't really complain. Herschel Jantjies is the other, him obviously not being in great form, and this guy's like, well, they've called up Hendrickson, who's in the squad, and then look around to the Currie Cup and you see that there are some scrum halves that are on form. So it's a pressure position. And for him, I think it's going to be a big game for him coming off the bench, especially because you want to retain that place. And there's guys, Sanele Nohamba has fallen down to the bench for the Sharks from being in that squad. So
look, number 9.
It's getting hot. It's getting hot in that number 9 kitchen.
Over there, see little halfbacks going at each other. They usually fight with the big boys, but now, all of a sudden you look at our SA Rugby, and all of a sudden you just the Sharks all of a sudden they've got 3 quality number 9s, and it's the Bulls as well. They've got good number 9s, coming through there, and. You think to yourself that, hey, if you Herschel Yankees, you're just thinking, look, he's due big performance. He's due a big performance.
I'd say even Visser, this is the time where Visser can stake his claim, because
yeah,
Evan Roos is also, he's breathing down his neck. I think when just looking at the squad, the thing, I think it's a nice blend of guys that need a chance and guys that needed to be rested. I think it's been, I can't complain about that team. The center combination is the only place where I hope we get it started there. That's the only, Francois Steyn, there are calls that maybe his best days are behind him, and then you've got Donkey Creel, but we'll see how it goes.
Look, I think with Francois Steyn, understandably there will be those calls. I think him as well, he'll have to deliver on the weekend, at 12. As much as he's experienced and decorated, I think he'll know that he has to deliver. Dialende has set the standard very high. Well, that's the Dialende and Lukhanyo have set that standard in the midfield very high, and it's up to these guys now to match it. I think some guys, they I don't know how many more chances they need, or they're going to get. I really don't know, because at some point, I think a decision is going to have to be made, to say, where does he play? Not even about where does he play, to say, okay, who's the next guy? Who's the next guy? And if they're talking about building depth, for me, you
can't keep the same. They've tried to keep that core group of players since the World Cup, but you can't keep that core group of players forever.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I say then it becomes a strong case where you say, look, you picked a Wandisile Simelane, and the 13, I feel, which is his best. I feel is his best position. Just get him in there. You're not going to know until you get him in there. And allow him to get a taste of test match rugby at the highest level and see what he can do and how he fits in, which I think he will. And then that, okay, that's your backup 13, because there's JC, or Donkey Creel as you call him, he's got, in fact of the matter, he's got the caps behind his name. He's got the caps, he's got the experience behind his name. He has scored some good tries in the past and whatever, but overall, in terms of the overall package, it's not for me, it hasn't been at the same standard of, okay, two different players, but I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. It's stress. That one is really stressful, because, if you look at even the Argentinian backline, if you're talking about the Rugby Championship, all the backlines actually in this Rugby Championship, they're very strong. Got good ball runners. They run good lines. Attacking threats. And you need a 13 that knows his business, and so
we'll see this weekend. Moving along, Currie Cup. Talking about that man Simelane, he was moved back to his position, the position that you wanted to see him in. Lions visiting Griquas, and Duncan Matthews, he came in at 15, which was a bigger impact than one would have thought prior to the game. I always did rate him. He was stuck in the centers for a bit last season. Came in here at 15, and it seems like, he solved that problem for now, at least.
Well, for now, yeah, true. For now, at least, but I liked that game. Was crazy, Griquas Lions. It was a super crazy game. Credit the Griquas for the fight. They stayed in it. I think they were down by like 20 or 19 points or something like that, and they fought back, but the Lions, I think it's a welcome win, a relief for them, to get that win. There's a lot to like about their attack, but at the same time, you just kind of feel like you just don't know where they're going, because
Yeah, there's some guys on fraud watch. There's some guys that we're watching to see if these are fraudulent players.
Yeah.
I won't mention names of positions. Some may be related to higher management, but there's some guys that we don't know how good these guys really are. But I mean, we'll see. Like you said, attack was much better. Warner had a really good game. His pace and tempo. Hendrickson was back. I was seeing the next Springbok fly half. He's finally back.
Let's give him time.
He showed his running game. We've been seeing a different side of him. We've been seeing more of a kicking fly half, and we saw the running side from him. Similani was influencing at 13. So it was a good game for us. I can't complain, but I won't. Greek was just unlucky, especially with injuries. Injuries forcing their changes. But and I think their set piece also, it fell apart on the day. But good game. Good game. It was. The pitch was. They were playing on concrete.
Yeah, I mean it is Kimberley after all, right? So I think like you say, Greek's set piece wasn't. It wasn't what they become or what we become accustomed to over the recent weeks. It wasn't there. So I think it's just a consistency issue. But again, the fight back, you have to credit that. Then you have to ask the question of the Lions, to say, where did they switch off, or when did they switch off and allowed, the Greekers to come back at them, and then again, you have guys like that man, Edwin Cater, I think it was how many meter try that, you just, that guy's rapid, and he's just, he's just too much for the defenders, and unlucky to them, but the log is tight. I think it's good to see this level of, it's really a tight Currie Cup, this time around. And for me, it's good to see. It's good for SA Rugby. And you can just see, when you see teams like Griquas and Pumas literally in the mix, it's really, it can only bode well for our rugby,
Yeah, moving on to the next one. Also, talking about good for our rugby, to see the strength in depth with Grant Williams. That was one of the things that I really think was good for our rugby. When you see a guy like that pushing, benching Sanele Nohamba, he had a great performance. His interplay with Takia Abrams for that try. He had big runs throughout. I think I don't really have much to say about this game except for Grant Williams. It was his standout performance.
Yeah, for me, Junada, I liked about this game. I liked, look, fact of the matter is that the Bulls looked like they were going to run away with it. That's in the first half, it just looked like the Bulls were going to take the Sharks apart. I was concerned, but then the Sharks pack started, stepping up in that second half, and I can't speak enough about that loose trio of the Sharks. I really like them, and even Pepsi as the captain, he stood up, he made some crucial plays as well. And he's another one at number 8 that I think, we need to keep a close eye on, because, potentially even end of year, he could get a nod to be on tour and just, get exposure to that Springbok environment. I think so, if we're looking at it from overall sort of perspective, at 8. But again, you talk about Grant Williams. We've spoken about him, I think, even at Super Rugby Unblocked, where I think you even mentioned that, you liked the tempo that he brought, the control that he had. And look, and you can see he's been waiting for his chance. He's been growing, he's been pushing, and he got his chance, and that is, I think that's put pressure on Sanele Nohamba. And to his credit, I must say, Nohamba, when he came on, he also made big rip. Yeah, he also came in with some crucial moments in that game, and I felt, you can see that he understands that the pressure is there. You can see that he's had the taste of the Springbok environment, and obviously you can see he's disgruntled because, he didn't get called back, except the guy that was behind him got called up, and you know, that can only, I think that can only bode well, you know, create healthy competition. And yeah, look, you know, the Sharks team, I think there's still a long way to go. I'm happy that we at least got the win over the Bulls at home. You know, the Bulls, yeah, I think they'll be kicking themselves because they just couldn't get it together, especially in that second half. They, you know, it's like they thought that it was just going to be a continuous, it was going to be one-way traffic all throughout that game. And yeah, credit to the Sharks for coming back there. And you know what, I was happy with the win. Although with the Bulls, I have the one thing that I found strange at the end of that game, you know, they went for the 3 points to get the one bonus point, whereas I was wondering why they didn't go for the line and, you know, try and get a try and get within 7, and, you know, they would have got the bonus point try for 3 tries and a bonus point for being within, you know, less than 7. You know, I don't know. I found that strange, you know, because the opportunity was there, you know. I guess because now the Sharks are top of the log with less wins, you know, by virtue of a bonus point. The Bulls have won more games than the Sharks, but they're second.
They just wanted to go home. They just wanted to go.
But yeah. Oh.
Yeah, onto the final one. Province Cheetahs. Disappointing result for me. Disappointing result for me, because I felt like this one was all about the Cheetahs. Fine, Western Province kicked it off, you know, they got that early try, but after that, for me, it was all about the Cheetahs. There were guys that Lomikis had a good game.
Yeah,
Cohen Jasper, he's also just kicked on, and I think also him playing on the wing, having played in other positions, it just makes you so much more of a better all-round player. It's like Janti having played fly half, schoolboy career, then they move you onto the wing. As much as you might not like it, you've got a better kicking game. So I feel like him having played different positions, by the time he gets onto the wing, there's his decision making and his you know, all round play was very good.
Yeah. Look, the Cheetahs will be very upset to themselves, you know. What for me, in terms of like just from an entertainment value, game of the weekend, you know, from entertainment value, because the intensity, that's what I like the most about this game, is that there was that intensity, but then also the way the Cheetahs were moving that ball. My goodness,
Fortain woke up feeling dangerous. He was feeling dangerous.
Hey, man.
The way, you know, they were giving him too much space, and he was taking it to the line.
It was good. It was good to watch, and you'd have thought, look, Cheetahs all day. You know, Cheetahs all day. Going to take this, and then I think ill discipline, silly mistakes, silly penalties, and then you give Tim Steele a chance to steal. You know, he's been doing that. You know, and he did it again. Dude, did Province deserve to win that game? Maybe not. I don't think so. You know, I don't think so. Based on the overall picture, the Cheetahs for me by far.
But it's that thing that they have as a team. You've said it how many weeks in a row where you can say they just about hold on. They just about hold on until it's time to strike. And they sucked the Cheetahs in. There was a point in the game where there was a bit of needless kicking. And then the Cheetahs had the running game going, but it was structured and they were rolling in a good way. And then they got sucked into just running from anywhere and kicking from anywhere and just doing anything. And in that phase is when I think Province got a try and started to claw the way back. Yeah.
I think we've said it before. Well, these guys with Province, you leave the door open. You know, we've seen this movie. We've seen this movie many times. You leave the door open, you know, just a little bit. You know, they find a way, and you have to commend them for that. As much as, you know, we may not like them as much, you know, but you have to commend them. But or what I can say is I'm happy, like a guy like Warwick Krelant, you know, back.
Yeah, he back.
And he looks for somebody that's just come back from injury. This guy looks sharp. You know, he looks sharp. He's quick. You know, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. And now all that's done is, you know, it's not that all that's done. We've always known that he's there, but it's really going to create an interesting sort of selection dilemma going forward, for the Boks. But yeah, man, Free State Cheetahs are just unlucky.
Unlucky. De Jong again struggling. Duncan Saul, he had a standout. I forgot to mention him. There was a time where he got a hospital pass, and you'd think De Jong would have eaten him up there, but he ended up falling right off of him. That man, I think he also needs to, in your words, what you said about our fullback, I think he also needs to go and do something. Consult his people.
He needs to go consult his people, man. Look, honestly, because it's strange. That's the thing that I don't understand, is that we know the type of player that he is a quality player. He just, look, he had a nice little touch, maybe lucky, with Sinatla scoring that try. It was luck, but you have to try, and if you don't try, you don't get the luck, right? So, but other than that, there was you can't really understand what else he brings, outside of his experience, and that's a shame, because he hasn't lived up to that bill, because when you saw him coming back, you thought, oh, okay, at least. There'll be some better stability
because
in
they
the
were
midfield.
having problems at center.
Yes, and it just hasn't happened, hasn't kicked off, which is a head scratcher. I don't know how much time you want to give him, because it's not like he's a 21-year-old still learning the ropes. He's been there, he's done that. So at some point, look, again, like I think we've said it many times, they will have to hang their hat on somebody, to say, okay, this is our guy going forward, because you understand, yes, it's a young group, and trying to get the experienced guys, but at some point, you have to let the boys play, let the youngsters play, let them make the mistakes, and from there they will learn, they can grow, and they can't do that if they're sitting on the side.
Yeah, not much else to say about that one. I'm just looking forward to, Argentina game. There's going to be less stress on this one. Curry Cup also, I think what we saw, entertainment factor in this game, I'm looking forward to I think it's mostly midweek games, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Curry Cup, I think those games are it's interesting matchups. Pumas Sharks, Pumas coming off a bye, so I think for the Sharks, it has to be, it's a must win, I think. Otherwise we find ourselves in trouble. Those points, it's close. Everybody's within striking distance of each other. Same with Bulls, Griquas. I think maybe Bulls will just have a bit too much for them being at Loftus again. But you know what?
Griquas have been traveling well.
Yes, exactly. So there's potential there. But the one that I'm looking forward to the most is Cheetahs against the Lions, because this could be an entertaining game, because both teams like to give the ball air, and it's going to be interesting to see how those games go, But then again, you spoke about Argentina. I just want to touch on New Zealand, Australia, because I watched a bit of the Bledisloe Cup. I think, look, watching New Zealand, against Australia, or one thing that I said to myself, we're going to beat these guys. And say, no, we can take these guys. See, this season we can take these guys, because just remember, the last time we played them was that World Cup game and we lost. So we have to set the record straight, get the balance sheet going again, and I think we really can beat these guys. Up front, they're not too impressive. The only danger man really that they have is Richie Mo'unga. Take that guy away out of that team. They're ordinary. They really, really are ordinary, and I think we can beat them. Australia, on the other hand, I think, it's just from seeing them, from watching them, their series against France, and then even now in this game, how, if you look at it, they missed, I think their kicker missed about six kicks. He had 1 out of 7 or 2 out of 7, something like that, at test level, which is not good. Not even not good, it's very poor, But overall, just the grit that team has, I think it's going to be a close one. I think between us and Australia, that's that's where I think we'll find the real sort of the bigger tests, as it were, you know, because they present a different picture. You know, with New Zealand, I think we can handle these guys because they like to talk too much, you know, about us and how boring we are, you know. So, you know, we're going to show them just how boring is winning rugby for us, because that's what works for South Africa, you know. And at the end of the day, all we care about is that W, my man. Like, we don't care about, you know, anything else, you know. Look, even if Colby didn't score a try on the weekend, if it was penalty kicks all day, we'd be happy, you know, because we won the series, you know. So
yeah, we're not here for moral victories.
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, because look, we can watch Super Rugby or, you know, whatever competition is going to happen for that entertainment stuff, but at test level, we just want the win. You know, we just want the win, and you know, I'm just happy that.
But you know what? I actually think,
and the boys.
Yeah, I actually think that there's going to be less pressure on them. You know, now that this series is done, now that we've been playing some international level rugby, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure off. And with that will come a lot more expression from guys, and it's no more fine. Obviously, it's within a competition, but there's not 3 tests that you have to go and make sure that you win. Like, you know what I'm saying. There's going to be a lot of pressure off of these guys to go and play and express themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And even if you look at even the backline that's selected, attacking threats that we have, you know, like if you look at. We've got attacking threats all around. I think the blueprint will stay the same. You know, it always will stay the same. You know, set piece dominance. The pack has got to do its job. Once the pack does its job, then you know what? Then it's easy. It's basically you can't get to step 3 without doing step 1. You know, so you know, once our step 1 and step 2s are in place, you know, the physicality and the set piece. And then step 3, you know, we've got the guys to cut anybody apart, honestly, and even defensively to really suffocate. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the Rugby Championship. Argentina is going to be tough. Let's not make take them lightly. You know, those guys are tough. You know, but. We are in Quebec this weekend, you know. We are in some of these guys, it's their hometown. So all I see is just, you know, W's, maybe even W's throughout the whole championship, you know. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and I think that's it from us this week. Any closing remarks, Chris, besides the W's?
W's. That's my closing remark, because W's all around, man. W's.
That's it. Thanks for watching. W Switch Pod. We're out.